Hi, let's talk about hygiene fails, again. Top Reddit posts. Like and subscribe if you like this video.
Smelly bellies and summer hygiene. Hey you guys. I was going to post this anonymously, but whatever, I'm pretty shameless. As the hot weather sets in, I noticed that I have to wash more frequently. You'd think the obvious areas on a plus-size woman that would smell would be the crotch and underarms. Nope. My bag smells just fine. But my underbelly, after a day of sweating, carries a spoiled milky sour smell. It's awful. Cornstarch powder helps some, but eventually I get eczema rashes/breakouts from the powder irritating my skin. Then it becomes an itchy, moist/weeping, smelly mess. I've started showering twice a day and sink washing midday as well. My skin is screaming for relief. How do I combat this problem? Does any else have this issue? How do you handle it?
My daughter had to deal with something similar in the office she works in. One of the women had a serious yeast infection down there. It got to where she could stink up the room before entering. Apparently she was oblivious to it. One of the medical assistants had to take her aside and educate her.
You may have a yeast infection on your skin. If so, cornstarch is only going to make it worse, because you're basically feeding the yeast. Check with a doctor if you can, but if not, you might want to try some over-the-counter yeast treatments anyway.
Okay. It's worth checking out again with this new doc I have. I'm still in the process of finding a doctor that doesn't look at me like I'm stupid when I tell them what's wrong with me, and prescribes weight loss as a cure for my every ailment. Ironically, the more my belly is dropping from weight loss, the worse the sweating and smells get.
My mom had this same problem, and let it go for so long, before seeing a doctor, that she was told the integrity of her skin was compromised. So don't let it go. She was diagnosed with a yeast infection, and it got to the point where it was bleeding. Her doctor had her on a complicated regimen of treatments, because it had gotten so bad. She was using baby powder before going to the doctor, and they told her that the powder was actually making it worse, because it was abrasive. Definitely see someone soon, because it can get really bad if you let it go.
I was going to say deodorant, then saw your comments. I get really red and painful between my thighs and crotch. I had to get prescribed something called Mistop. It works pretty well. Baby powder may also help. Vagasol makes a powder you put in your undies that's talc-free. You could try for your belly too.
Wiping down your underbelly with a tea tree oil and witch hazel solution actually kills yeast and any bacterial thing going on. I've used this successfully when I needed to over the years.
No one has suggested a belly band yet. Take a cotton flannel pad and tuck it into the fold. It helps wick moisture away and leaves a little bit of air where it can evaporate. This also works with paper towels, a small cotton towel, or underboob sweat. Old-timers used to wear dress shields before antiperspirant worked as well as it does today. When I feel a skin yeast infection starting, this helps stop it. Other comments about using rubbing alcohol, diaper cream, and Latrimin are all good suggestions. Beware, the alcohol will burn at first if your skin integrity is compromised.
Use rubbing alcohol or hand sanitizer after that area dries, and then wait for that to evaporate before putting on any other clothing. Sounds like a lightweight skin infection.
Yeah, I've gotten that smell with underboob mostly, but on occasion have had it in the underbelly, and alcohol is what has gotten rid of the smell while dryness keeps it gone. For dryness, I always let that area air dry completely, and I wear cotton underwear, and, since I work from home, I don't wear pants most of the day. I've never been big on powder, but I have used antiperspirant on my underboob. It helps with the moisture and the friction, like with Chub Rub.
Good luck with treatments. I get similar in the summer. I usually take extra panties with me and keep them at work or in my backpack in case I need to change them to help dry out. After shower, I dry the area completely, then apply a mix of a barrier cream and antifungal. I get a bit of Desitin and a bit of Monistat and mix them together, then apply. That helps deal with fungal/yeast infection, and prevents further damage, by keeping the sweat out.
I am what I consider stable. So why is bathing and brushing my teeth so hard? I never brush my teeth and I only shower every 10 days or so. It's like it's mentally and physically painful to shower. I don't like to stink, but fuck man, it's so hard for me. Anyone else experience this when they're not depressed? I am going through the exact same thing right now. I am stable mentally, not as depressed as I have been. No suicidal thoughts, but taking care of myself is still so difficult. Usually go about 4 days to a week without a shower. Same with brushing my teeth. I'm not sure what to tell you. It's like I can't force myself to do simple things to help myself. You're not alone, and don't feel bad about it. I was going to go to the store today, but don't want to leave the house now.
My 15-year-old brother is going through a phase where he thinks not caring about physical hygiene is a personality trait, and I'd like to help him understand that caring about the cleanliness of your body isn't something bad or exclusively feminine at that age. For those of you that did go through a similar not showering for days phase, what made you realize soap isn't the enemy? And what do you wish someone told you during that time? Help a girl out. Quarantine has forced us into close quarters and I can't say I care for the smell of ripe teenage boy.
When I was with my ex-GF, I found a pros and cons list on her phone comparing me to her neighbor. One of my cons was that my breath sometimes stank. Been carrying gum and mints everywhere and brushing twice as long in the morning ever since. Also unrelated, started hearing about how big dudes usually stink, so I took great pride in smelling good enough to receive compliments about it.
Smelling terrible and feeling greasy were reason enough for me to want to maintain cleanliness, but if that isn't enough for him, then people need to start saying it to him. I was told only once when I was going through puberty that I stank, and it was enough to embarrass me into showering thoroughly at least once a day.
I used to not use deodorant every day. Where I used to work, there was an old guy who, unfortunately, several of my co-workers relentlessly made fun of. One day one of them pulled me to the side and told me, "Look, we all like you here, but you might want to start taking care of you, BO, or the other guys might start making fun of you like they do." Old co-worker. Before then I never realized I stank that bad, and I definitely didn't want to be mercilessly made fun of every day. From that day forward, I took a larger approach to all facets of personal hygiene. Things can seem harmless or okay cause you never suffer repercussions, until you do.
My dad told me a story of his time in the Navy, in which a fella, stateside, took maybe 2 showers a year. The grease built up on this dude until his sweat would bead, like on a well-waxed and buffed car. He says they showered him with the fire suppression hose, more showery, less Canon white, and aircraft detergent. Wash yo stank ass, people. Not for you. For the people around you.
Not really comparable, but during this whole thing going on, people do not seem to want to shower. I work at Target as a cashier. Before we got the shields I could smell everything. Some people I could barely stand as I checked them out.